All right, what we're going to do are a few of the problems on your worksheet, starting with number 6. For each of the problems, I want you to write down what I do, including an answer, and put something in the box. So with number 6, the directions were to write the polynomial in standard form. So make sure you combine like terms first, and that's what I'd like you to write in this first little box is CLT for combine like terms. And that's what I'm going to check to make sure you listen to the video. So make sure you write CLT in that box. When I combine like terms on here, I get 2x squared. Minus 5x plus 1x is minus 4, plus 4x is 0. So my end polynomial is very simple. It's just 2x squared. I'm to classify it by degree because the highest degree I see, and actually the only degree I see is 2, we call second degrees quadratics. And there's a list of those in your notes. So if you don't know the names of those, you can look those up in your notes. Because there's only one term, we call it a quadratic monomial. Had it been 2 terms, binomial. 3 terms, trinomial. So that's it. That's the answer to number 6. But had it been maybe 3x to the third plus 2x minus 1, now I have a cubic, 1, 2, 3, trinomial. And again, if you don't know the names of those, there's a chart in your note packet that was given to you. Next one up, number 12. It says to give the end behavior. I've crossed off those last 2 terms as you should on your worksheet because the end behavior is controlled by the highest power you see. If it's even, what it means is, and by end behavior, it means there's a function that's being graphed and I want to know what's happening at these ends. Like as I go to infinity this way and this way, where's my function going? Is it going down or up? Remember, when there's an even degree, your answer is either both up at the ends, which would mean it looked like this on one end and then it had some stuff and then it went up on the other, or both down. For evens, it's the same, and it's the sign that controls that. Because it's negative, I know I'll be going down in both ends, like this one. But you were supposed to write it with limit notation. So right here, I want you to write LIM for limit. So instead of saying it's going down, we're going to say it goes to negative infinity. And to write that properly, we'll say the limit as x approaches negative infinity, which basically means as I go forever to the left on the function, I will be heading down. Also, the limit, when I head forever to the right on the function, will be going down. So your final answer is this, and I want to make sure you wrote in the box, write LIM for limit. Next one up that we'll do is number 15. 15, it said to factor it. What we do when we're factoring it, by the way, just put a smiley face in that box right there. Just draw a little smiley face, or a sad face, or an angry face, or whatever you're feeling. We need to factor out a common term first if we can. Each one of these has an x in it, so I'll factor an x out or divide an x out. All it's going to do is knock the x, the power on the x, down 1. Now I'm back to the last chapter where I had to unfoil, figure out what can I lead this in. Let's see what we could try here. I'd try 3 and 2, and I'll try 6 and 1. I can only end in 3 and 1. So then I try to figure out, well, how can I match these to create the negative 7 that's in the middle there? Well, let's try. How about if I did 3 times 3? That'd be a 9. And 2 times 1. Well, I was lucky there. I got it right off the first try because I can create a negative 7 with a negative 9 and a positive 2. So don't forget the x we already took out. We are going to choose the 3 and the 2 for our leads. We are going to choose 3 and 1, but we have to be a little careful because I want to make sure I create a negative 9 here. So I'll have to have a negative 3. That's the combo that adds up to this negative 7. So my 3 is on the outside, which means my minus 3 needs to be on the outside, which would leave a 1 for the inside. And it said to check it with multiplication. I'll leave that up to you. Number 20 is like one we did yesterday. Before we do number 20, what I want you to do is go put the answer in a box for number 16. Number 16, it gives you nice numbers that are zeros. So when it says write a polynomial function in standard form with the given zeros, well, if 3 makes it 0, you're going to write x minus 3. And then 2 again, we're looking at number 16. If 2 makes a 0, you'll write x minus 2. And if negative 1 makes a 0, you'll write x plus 1. So you should write x minus 3 times x minus 2 times x plus 1. Then write yourself a little note to multiply that out because it says in standard form. But I'm going to assume you can FOIL and distribute. So I picked, unlike 16, I picked a more difficult one. Number 20. If root 5 is a root, or a 0, then x minus root 5 is a factor. And leave some space because I told you when there's the roots and the i's, they need a buddy. They need a friend in there to help get rid of the ugliness because you're not allowed in standard form to have roots or imaginary numbers. So if 2i was a 0, x minus 2i is a factor, but it needs a buddy. The one you put in here is always the conjugate. So it has the same lead, same end with a different link. Same lead, same end with the opposite link. What that does is when we FOIL, so in the box by number 20, write the word FOIL, just so I know you're listening. We do x squared. Outside and insides always cancel when you have conjugates. So I really just have to do firsts minus lasts. And root 5 is just root 25 or 5. Likewise over here, my firsts are x squared. Outside and inside are going to cancel. It'll be plus 2i minus 2i. That's the reason it gets rid of them. When I multiply these, I get a minus 4, and then it's I squared. I'm not going to write that down because I squared equals negative 1. And when I multiply by negative 1, so I could put a little I squared right here, but it's really a negative 1. And when we multiply by negative 1, all it does is change the sign. So all I'll do is go right here. Instead of writing I squared, I go and make it a plus 4. And with number 20, it did say it just said to write a polynomial. So we're good. That's the polynomial that has the given zeros. And last one that we'll do together, number 30. It says find the zeros. Those are always easy, especially when it's in this nice form here. The zeros are whatever makes the 0. 3 and 4. It also said to state the multiplicity, and that's just how many times that factor is in there. This is x minus 3 to the first, so it's got a multiplicity of 1. The other one is x minus 4 squared, so it has a multiplicity of 2, and that's done. And I guess right here in the box, you can just go ahead and write stop. When you can show me that you've done those 5 problems with 5 things written in a box, that's your points for the day. To keep them, you just need to keep working till you're done or till 5 after 2. Have a good one, guys.